in as much as we are not happy with the situation of Niger, where a democratically elected leader, Bazoum, was ousted by the military dictatorship, we should be very careful as Nigeria or other West African countries in how we approach this situation. I want us to look at the realities of what happened that led to the coup. Number one, we have two United States military bases in Niger. One in Agadez, which is base 201, and one in Niamey, which is base 101. And we also have 6,000 strong force Operation Barkhane forces of French. In the same Niger, when they were sacked away from Mali and Burkina Faso and Guinea-Conakry, they all packed themselves in Niger. Yet, of all their presence and their military might, they simply let the coup take place. They allowed it to happen because Mohamed Bazoum, the ousted leader of Niger, was the most pro-Western Niger leader of these days. Yet, they did not stop military coup against him. They removed him. They allow him to be removed. So if this is the case, our ECOWAS leadership, especially under the president of our country, should not make a mistake of making any effort in military intervention in Niger, as have they been forced or pushed by the Western powers. I saw Kamala Harris calling our president, telling him that she is good and they should take action. French President Emmanuel Macron and Anthony Blinken, all of them talking and flattering our West African leaders to take action. And what they meant is military action. And once there's a military engagement within West Africa, it plays perfectly into their game, because it's going to be cheaper for them to get oil in our Nigeria, for instance, because we are going to be trading crude oil in exchange for weapons to continue to fight the war. In Niger, they are going to be trading in uranium to get weapons in order to continue to confront Nigeria. And the West will now be using this as a ground to test their weapons, to make us destroy ourselves, to sell more of the same weapons and extract our resources with our blood. Especially in northern Nigeria. The north is practically going to be a hot zone and a battleground. Despite the problems we are having with banditry, with terrorism, with Boko Haram, we are now also going to be converted into a battle zone for testing weapons, including biological weapons. We should not let that happen. We should make a diplomatic effort. A high-power delegation under their leadership should be made to go to Niger and find a solution diplomatically to this issue. Further to my earlier video, I want to emphasize that from geostrategic perspective, it is important and in the interest of the Western powers that West Africa should have no peace. Because our peace is enlightening us and giving us more stability, and is making us to recalibrate our partnerships, our foreign partnerships, with countries that matter, that cares about our development, as opposed to the countries that exploit and steal and plunder our resources. Not that they are losing the war completely. It is in their interest that there is no peace. And we should understand that the global conflict taking place in Ukraine and Russia has drastically affected the energy demand in Western powers, and they are looking for energy powers. And what better countries to play in getting these energies than Niger, and particularly Nigeria? Nigeria have largest gas and oil reserve, while Niger have highest number of uranium deposit, the 7th largest uranium deposit in the world. 1/3 of French nuclear energy, is powered by uranium extracted from Niger. In fact, even the Eiffel Tower in France is powered by uranium that is coming from Niger. Meanwhile, Niger, 80% of the population of that country have no access to electricity. So there is a complete plunder. But now that the Nigerians are becoming more democratic and Nigerians are becoming more, a demand of transparency and accountability is forcing them away from getting these resources as they used to get it. So therefore, it is in their interest that there should be war, so that we can use these same resources cheaply to them in exchange for weapons. We shouldn't play to the hands of these people, please. In fact, another thing again we should understand is, if West Africa decided to invade Niger in the name of trying to restore constitutional order, we are not going to be fighting Niger, but we are going to be fighting Wagner PMC that are present in Mali, in Burkina Faso, and in Guinea-Conakry. If the combined forces of Wagner came to Niger with forces of West Africa confronting each other, trust me, we're going to destroy our entire region for nothing other than to satisfy the ego of the Western powers. We shouldn't be too cheap to play to this game, because this game is going to destroy us completely, especially northern Nigeria. We should never allow that. That should not happen in our presence. These guys are playing us big time to plunder our resources at the expense of our blood and our sweat, by creating enmity between the countries that we share so much affinity with. We shouldn't do that. The population of northern Nigeria and the population, 55% population of Niger, are almost equal, the same people. So we should not be able to allow these people to play us at the point of the borders they drew against us, please.